You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEG Talk Radio. Click live stream or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn on the WCEG Network. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. You can subscribe free to our YouTube channel at WCEG Network. Like, follow us, and connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. On our new platforms, you can download our free mobile apps on Apple, iPhones, and iPads. Go to the Apple Store and search WCEG Talk Radio. Apple TV, search WCEG Network TV. On Apple Watch, search WCEG Network. Android mobile phones, you can go to Google Play Store and search WCEG Talk Radio. We remind you that the topics and our opinions are those of the show hosts and guests and not of WCEG Network. And we thank you for your continued support. I am Dr. Ronald Tolbert of Red Oak Animal Hospital, and this is Paw Sensitive. Our topic for today is we're going to be discussing the future of Red Oak District and South Fulton, Georgia. We have a special guest with us today. This is Caitlin King. She is the Main Street Manager of the Red Oak District, and we'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Tolbert. It's great to be here today.
Well, great. I know we have a lot to talk about. And for those of you, first of all, that don't know me, I own and operate Red Oak Animal Hospital in the Red Oak District in South Fulton, Georgia. We've served the community for well over 35 years. We practice small animal medicine and surgery. We provide services to the surrounding communities of Fulton County, Fayette County, also in Riverdale, and some parts north. We really love what we do here. We try to take really good care of our patients, and you can always find us at redoakah.com or go to our website. They'll tell you where we're located at 4895 Ben Hill Road in South Fulton, Georgia. Caitlin, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Oh boy, we have an hour. So I'm Caitlin King. I am the Main Street Manager over in the Red Oak District. For those of you who don't know, the city of South Fulton named the Red Oak area the historic district for the city. So basically, when you're looking at a map from Welcome All Road to Washington Road is sort of the outline of our historic downtown. I've been with the city for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May. And in that time, we have formed a Main Street Advisory Board, which Dr. Tolbert sits on and holds a couple of different leadership positions, as well as 6 other community members. We've started farmers markets, community events like our summer series. We have an annual art festival every year. And in addition to doing all of that, we also manage the recruitment and retention of new businesses in the district. So that could be anything from helping a business who's looking for a brick and mortar shop to set up getting some real estate going. It could be working with some type of cottage industry. That's a business that's working inside the home and getting them to that next step, or it could be helping a business expand. So it might be that you'll see we'll often share when businesses like the Red Oak Animal Hospital or Sasha Sweet are hiring to give people an opportunity to get connected with our local businesses. So we're sort of a one-stop shop of being real estate agents, as well as community event planners and a marketing department, and all sorts of other things.
Okay, sounds good. I understand you have 3 little friends that I need to get acquainted with at some point in life.
I do. I'm also the proud cat mom of 3 different cats who are maybe floating around at the door. Let me see if I can find one.
Okay.
Let's see what we've got. Do we have a cat out here?
While she's gone, we just want to remind everybody that a lot of what we do in the Red Oak District affects community. It also affects what we do as a business here. And we appreciate her and what she does on the Red Oak District. Who do we have here?
This is Dell. His name
Okay.
is Delano.
Okay.
So weird. Well, he's like, I don't want to be on camera. I'm out. Weird coincidence. I live in East Atlanta. I live in the White Oak Hills neighborhood. And I also live off of a Delano Road, where I work in Red Oak, and we also have a Delano Road.
Okay.
And then my
Gotcha.
cat's named Delano.
Okay, super. All right. Well, just going back to a few little things that we're working on. We've got Earth Day coming up this month, I believe.
We do.
And we got some activities planned for that. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, we're going to be doing another community cleanup. I think this will be the third one we've done in the past year. We started last Earth Day with our first cleanup and had a nice turnout for that.
Where was that?
That was when you and your son came out. That was Earth Day 2022, and we had the food truck in the parking lot where the Wayfield is.
Okay.
And then this year, because we have our new tavern that's opening up in the plaza, we're actually partnering with them. So the morning of April 22nd, between 9 and 11, you can come to Suite 15 in the Wayfield Plaza. And we're going to have like donuts, coffee, t-shirts, trash pickers, safety vests. You can suit up, and we've identified 3 streets we're definitely going to get. We're hoping to get all 8 of the main streets sort of in Red Oak if we have enough volunteers. It's a pretty quick job. We hit Delano Road last year, and it took us like 45 minutes. And then I work with Public Works to come by, and they grab all the big stuff. So like tires and chairs, anything like that I don't expect a private citizen to cart home with them. We get picked up.
Did some planning over there as well, didn't we?
Yeah. And so that was kind of a cool expansion project. Instead of just focusing on getting rid of the trash, we also wanted to be very thoughtful about beautification and starting those first steps towards having a community garden. So we had 4 planter boxes go up, got around 500 tulips planted in all of them, and then had local artist Artsy Bella come out, and she actually painted all of the boxes. And then the students who were at the Crossfire Movement Learning Pod in the back of Siloam International Church, those 25 kids came out one day and filled in all the color on the mural that she did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was like our first official beautification project. And then we've also got a small community garden going that Lee Muhammad, who runs the Green for Life Farmers Market in the Red Oak Plaza next to the Wayfield Plaza. He's got 6, I believe, garden beds set up now. And so he's going to start doing some planting for, like tomatoes, strawberries, all sorts of cool horticulture stuff. So if you guys aren't following Green for Life or Red Oak District on Instagram, check us out, because we're always sharing the different community projects we're popping up with.
Okay. Where would these gardens be?
They're actually next to, so when you go onto Siloam's property, they have a small house. It's a really cool project. It was, I don't even know if it was just like a storage room, but they had built this auxiliary building, and they have since used a grant from Comcast to turn it into a Livestrong learning pod. Okay. And inside the pod, you have 4 classrooms and then a big central area, and they have laptops, high-speed internet, and then they do lots of cultural enrichment there. So everything from tennis lessons to having people come in and speak about career day. I have a neighbor who works for NASA who's like, I'd love to come and talk to kids about how to work for NASA. Wow, yeah. And so the gardens are next to that.
Okay.
Little house.
We're also trying to partner with Creekside High School, at least with got Mr. Hammond in touch with Travis Hyman, who was a guest on our show not too long ago. And these kids take care of a lot of different things in agriculture. They have chickens over there that's selling eggs. They've got all kind of strange critters over there, lizards, geckos, chameleons. They've got a fishery where they're growing fish as well in there. So we're trying to get them to be involved with some of the beautification that we're doing as far as the gardening goes. Like to get them involved with the farmers market so that they can bring the eggs out and sell those as well. And let's talk a little bit about the farmers market. I think the first one is coming up on the 22nd. Is that right?
Yeah, we started the farmers market last year and it was on Wednesdays, but we've actually moved it to Saturdays. So now we have twice a month, we're going to have the farmers market, whereas last year it was only once a month. And Lee is helping me manage that. So he will always have like a table set up with Red Oak information, but I am one person, and as much as I would love to be in Red Oak 6 days a week, and I can't.
I get it.
Last year when we started the market, I think the first market I did, we had maybe like 5 vendors and like 30 people show up. And by the end, we were having about 400 transactions and had about 10 vendors.
Okay.
I think for this market, we'll probably have around 15 vendors, and the turnout is based on these lovely folks if they want to turn out for us. It's going to start directly after the cleanup, so we're hoping we can kind of capitalize on all the folks who come out to clean up. Then they can go hit up the farmers market and have a very eco-friendly Earth Day.
Okay. Tell me, how can they register for this farmers market if you want to be a vendor?
You can go to redoakdistrict.com, and it's literally the first thing. You don't even have to click any of the tabs up top. It's the first thing you see. There's a button and it says, become a vendor now. And they click that. It's a Google Doc. It goes straight to me. Give me some time to reply, because like I said, I'm sort of a one-man band. But once you signed up, I check it every other day, so you'll get something within the week.
Okay, great. So we're doing this from now until the end of October, is that right?
September. We might extend to October if we can get like a good pumpkin crop or something. I think it'd be fun to do some pumpkins in the fall.
Okay.
But right now it's till September.
So second and fourth Saturdays, did I get it right? Second and fourth Saturday. So the first one is this on the 22nd, and it runs from what time to what time?
11 a.m. to 5 p.m. or maybe 4 p.m. I might be wrong, but it starts at 11 a.m. and goes until I think 4 p.m.
Okay, great. Also, and I don't know if we've done this, but we probably ought to think about doing this as well. Fulton County Animal Control and a lot of these shelters are having a lot of problems adopting out pets. They've got so many that they're afraid that they may have to start euthanizing dogs. So we just want to remind our listeners that, hey, you need to, if you need a pet or if you know anybody that does, we need to get them some help. Now, you can also sponsor pets. In other words, you can rehome them and just hold on to them and kind of babysit them for a while. You don't necessarily have to keep them permanently, but at this point, we just don't have the space to house all these pets. In addition, they've asked me and other veterinarians if they can to volunteer their time to do some extra spay and neutering. At last count, I think they had over 800 pets that need to be spayed and neutered. They got a lot more than that need to be adopted out, and this is kind of getting critical because we're looking at a no-kill shelter, okay, which means we don't want to put anything down ever if we can help it. So if you're listening, please, and you know anyone that wants to adopt a pet, go to Fulton County Animal Control or Animal Services. They're located on Marion Boulevard. And they've got a website that you can look up and take a look at what you want to adopt as well. So let's be mindful of that, because again, we are not trying to put anything down. We're trying to find homes for everybody.
I have a question, Dr. Tolbert.
Yes.
Was there a catalyst for this pet crisis? Was it just people not getting pets spayed and neutered? Was it COVID pets that people couldn't take care of?
It was a combination of things, and that was part of it, because spaying and neutering, they're not doing enough of that, and some of it is taboo in certain people's minds. You got to understand that if you got a man, he does not want to neuter his male dog, and sometimes the same thing with females. But you got to understand that if you're not going to breed them, they probably need to be fixed. They make for better pets. It takes the aggressiveness away, the roaming away. You don't have to worry about them disappearing, hunting and going about, just disappearing for days on end. Also, you have to remember that a lot of people lost their jobs during the pandemic, and it was difficult for them to maintain their pets. Some people were in the military, got deployed, and those people in the military that got deployed, they couldn't take their pets as well. That was a real bad problem during the Iraq War. And anytime we have large mass numbers of military deployed, pets get left behind. So we want to keep all that in mind and hope that we can get as many adopted as possible. And we hope that our listeners are paying attention to that, so that we don't have to put anyone down. And we're going to transition a little bit. what are some of the other things that we're working on in South Fulton to improve, not only the traffic, but the area and the way things are going to look around here?
Oh, Dr. Tolbert is always worried about traffic. That's his one concern as a board member. Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, Roosevelt Highway is a GDOT highway, but we are pretty excited to announce we're going to have a roundabout coming at the intersection of Washington Road and Roosevelt Highway. You've seen, if you live in the neighborhood, that the BP gas station was torn down, and that was in preparation for getting this roundabout up and going. I think it's slated to be completed at the beginning of 2024. So we're looking at eight months or so. The GDOT people have been very communicative, but obviously, working with the state, things, if you think city government is slow, boy, oh boy, the state is also pretty slow. So that's like directly in Roosevelt in terms of traffic alleviation. The other part too is walkability, right? If you live in an area that has connectivity, sidewalks, light posts, all of those things, you're more apt to want to potentially walk over. So big plan, taking the plan up to 10,000 feet, looking especially at Red Oak, we want to have more walkability there for our residents. In terms of the rest of the city, Old National Highway, we also have a revitalization program over there that's run by Teresa Parham, and she's been doing a phenomenal job with her revitalization board. She essentially has 7 folks who are kind of doing the same thing that we're doing, just a little bit different, a more commercial corridor vibe, less sleepy downtown, more like it's Old National Highway. We see thousands and thousands of people every day driving up and down the highway. They just completed what's called an LCI, a Livable Centers Initiative, and it took a year of planning. We got a grant through the Atlanta Regional Commission. The folks at the collaborative firm helped put the plan together. And so that'll be up once we get our economic development website squared away, where you can look at what the recommendations from that planning committee were. And also it goes into some of the sidewalks, streetscaping, all those different things that we can do. So if we can get people out of their cars, feeling more comfortable using public transportation and thinking creatively on what we can do with roads and such, it'll definitely help with traffic.
Right. We've also had several ribbon cuttings and potential openings that are coming up for us. I understand that, Collab South, closed over there at Wayfield Plaza, and we now have a new police precinct.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's great. We got, how many officers are they planning to have run through there?
I think it's something like 20, but like 20 per shift. And then they're doubling up offices. They're building like a little, we'll actually have a cell in there, which is wild to me because that was my old office. So if anyone ever visited me there, they're taking that 1,200 square feet and turning it into a mini police precinct, which is great. We've been consulting with public safety on how to help them decorate because they're jealous of our new office on Old National.
Which we had a ribbon cutting there. What was that, last month?
Yeah, that was in February.
Okay.
Time flies. That was a project that took a little longer than anticipated, but for those not in the know, we opened a 3,000 plus square foot office building on Old National Highway, which is where I'm going to be working out of temporarily while we have another project that I'll get into in a little bit. Teresa's located out of there. Our economic development director, Artie Jones, is also there. And then Craig Davis, who's our special projects coordinator. So we're sort of the dream team. Now that we have some space, it's been really great because we can do more community engagement, more trainings. We had on Monday a fair housing assembly where we had 70 people in the office learning about how we can develop more attainable workforce housing. We're working on a financial literacy class coming this summer. So if you were trying to figure out how to get your finances together, and it's geared towards adults and youth. So it can be like, bring your kiddos, learn about financial literacy. We have the folks from the Georgia Economic Development Academy coming out and doing an economic development essentials class in August. So we have a lot of opportunities for people to get trained up. Again, follow us on social media to learn more about these opportunities.
Yeah, that sounds great. It was a great grand opening. I got to meet a lot of interesting people, including Willis Cooper, and I forgot the name of the organization. but he draws murals on basketball courts all over the place, as far as I know, and some of them are international. Is that right?
Yeah. So Coop has become a good friend. We met, gosh, I think in like December, and had a conversation about essentially creative placemaking in economic development. You know, the cool thing about economic development that I don't think people know is it touches everything. So oftentimes when you hear those words, you think, oh, Caitlin's just talking to businesses, but not really. I'm talking to nonprofits, I'm talking to residents, I'm talking to the parks department, because we're trying to figure out things that really increase the quality of life for people who live in the city. You know, that's my primary focus, is how can I get the things that people want to see here and be thoughtful in our development. And so partnering with somebody like Coop, who specializes in beautification, he's sort of the first frontier, right? He's coming into something that is dilapidated and is not serving the community the way that it once did. And in a lot of times, a heartbeat of a community can be something as small as a basketball court, right? That's where kids can gather. That's where adults can play a pickup game. And so we have one actually in Red Oak at Delano Park that unfortunately at some point in time, somebody like stole the fence that was around it. The goals got kind of beat up. The court's not repaved anymore. And so in talking with Coop, he was like, that's something my organization could handle. And so the last 4 months we've been meeting to figure out how we can make that court a gathering place again. So he's going to bring in his folks to repave it. We have a community survey that's been issued to the folks who live around the park. And they're filling that out to give us some input about what they'd like that mural to be. And we've talked with our awesome parks director, Ternard Turner. If you guys haven't met him, he's a force. And his deputy director, Tony Jordan, who's been with the city since its inception and was with Fulton County before that. And he is a cultural affairs guy who also gets parks and recreation. So the four of us are moving things forward, and we hope to have that project done, that basketball court reopened and beautified in the summer. And then Parks has committed to doing programming and stuff there too, to kind of keep that lifeblood flowing for the Delano Park.
Yeah, because he's done a couple of examples. I know he's done one in Decatur, but he's also done Adams Park, I believe, was one of the projects he's done. If you haven't seen that, you might want to go take a look at that. But basically, you know, he's painting a mural on the basketball court. I mean, this thing is great. I mean,
yeah, they've done something like 40 courts. And Coop's whole impetus is like, this is a community center without walls. Trying to get the attention put on the spot. This is the best way to do it, is beautify it and then bring in these artists who are pretty prolific and like have followings and stuff. And so people want to come to these courts. And then that's what we've done in economic development, what we call placemaking. And now you have a destination people want to go to. They're going to hop off the road to go check out that mural because it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that they do also, they do mentoring as well. And I think they also try to provide food services as well. So there's a lot going on here in South Fulton. I think people need to be aware of this. And I think one of the questions our listeners is anything going on for our senior citizens here?
I'm not in the Parks and Recreation department, but I do know that in terms of economic development, so thinking big picture, there are a lot of initiatives in place that it should be forthcoming in terms of senior housing. We're going to have a development over on Yates Road. So that's like Roosevelt and Yates, called the Courtney. You can check out their website. They should have a groundbreaking in the next few months. They're focused on 55 and plus community, beautiful, like farmhouse style townhouses. And then an active community center where they have like programming, a small footprint coffee shop, like a dry cleaners, a little general store, that kind of stuff. Because going back to that walkability component, when you don't have access to a car, or you can no longer drive an automobile, trying to just reduce that resistance. In terms of like senior programming, I know our parks folks are working on stuff, and I've seen some stuff go through cultural affairs. But if you aren't, and I'm just going to keep going back to it, follow City of South Fulton on the social medias. Make sure you are signed up for your council person's newsletters. Our council people put, I think, everything they can in these newsletters, and they're really valuable documents. So make sure you know your district, make sure you know your council person, make sure you're plugging into what the city is doing. Kind of my little, I'm going to step on my soapbox for a moment. People oftentimes are very focused on politics on a national level and don't think about the fact that our day-to-day lives are really impacted by what our local governments are doing. And so all those services that you want to see or love, you need to let folks know that you want to see them or that you love them, and we can help make those things come to fruition. But if we're not having those conversations, we can't support what citizens want to see.
Yeah, speaking of which, how can, average citizens have those type of conversations? Because I'm sure there are many of the communities that want to have input into what's going on with a lot of these initiatives. And what's the best way to do that?
You want to make sure that you are showing up to community meetings. That's a big thing. I can attest to the fact that I think all of our council people have at least one monthly meeting. Obviously, I'm more familiar with District 3 because I work closely with Councilwoman Willis, and she has 2 a month where you can go at the beginning of the month, the end of the month, and get updates. She's done special topics, and I think other council folks have done that as well, where you can learn about public safety, you can learn about sanitation, you can learn about upcoming economic development projects. If you want to get really in the grass, our board, the old National District Board, the Downtown Development Authority, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Development Authority have meetings every month. They're all open to the public. We put out our public notices into the newspaper as well as on the city website, and you can come to those meetings and ask questions about what's coming up. Obviously, my meeting is going to be more geared to what you're going to see on Roosevelt Highway because that's what we're working on. But if you have interest in opening a business over there or getting to know the neighborhoods, that's a great way to get a sense of folks. Same thing with Teresa's meeting. Every month they're meeting. So go to the meetings, make the contacts. If you can't come to a meeting, we put the minutes on the website. Shout out to Corey Adams, our city clerk, who handles a lot of meetings. And our council meetings also look at the agenda and see what's popping up. And if there's something that you're interested in knowing about, they put that on Zoom. It's like a pretty high quality production. Go in, make public comment. It's the tools are all sort of there. I think it just feels like a lot because it is, but we're here to help support and give that information. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I tell you, this is a lot of this can be time consuming, but I think it's also rewarding because we can see the results and the fruits of our labor as we go through the process. So I think another thing you can probably look at is the Southside Network. It comes on weekly. That's a good one to look at where Artie Jones is your host, and he covers a lot of different products that are going to be around in the area as well. I think that since I've been involved with it, I've seen a lot of progress in some things that we're doing. And I think that a lot of the residents who are seeing this really appreciate what's going on. And I'm very excited about what's coming up, at least in the next, 24 to 48 months. I think we're actually going to see some real changes around here that I think people are really going to like. And, not to let the cat out the bag, but I think that you were mentioning that you have a temporary office. Where's your office going to be? What's the new project there?
Yeah, I've been excited about this since I started. I think I was 2 weeks in. There is a house, and some of you might have seen it on Campbell Drive, going out to Washington Road. It has that sign that says Red Oak Renaissance Center on it. And it was occupied by the Fulton County Housing Authority for a long time. The city of South Fulton purchased it in, well, boy, doing the paperwork took forever. We got it finalized and closed in like January of 2022. That sounds right to me. Because so we finally got like the closing paperwork done, had keys in hand in 2022.
The Blue House.
The Blue House on 4800 Campbell. And so initially the thought was potentially to become a police precinct, but pulling out and talking with Chief Meadows and thinking, what's best and highest use, Chief was like, we'd have to I don't know if you know how police precincts work today, but these are like technology hubs, right? They need the fastest internet. They're going to have like a live streaming crime center, yada, yada, yada. So he was like, I don't think an old house that maybe doesn't have Wi-Fi is like the best spot for us. So for him, moving into the old office on Roosevelt was more conducive while they figure out a longer term plan to build something for themselves. And then for us, we've been able to basically get renderings done and design what we're calling almost the heart of the Main Street program. So we're going to have something like 7,600 square feet. I think 4,000 of that will actually like be the house when we've added the extension, but just the covered porches and stuff add a lot. And are planning to have an outdoor garden and an outdoor classroom, which can also be what I'm calling a little baby mini amphitheater where you could have about 100 people gather for like acoustic music.
Okay.
And have a lawn that can seat 160. So things like our farmers markets, our concert series can all go there. But the other added benefit is we want this to be something the community can use for rentals. So if you're thinking of like for your homeowners association, for a baby shower, for a birthday party, for a wedding, all those kind of things, there's just not really anything like that in the neighborhood. That's like a really beautiful historic home. I think I've told you this, that many jobs ago, my first job out of grad school, I managed Callanwald Fine Arts Center in, it's actually in DeKalb County on Briarcliff Road. And it was one of the old Coca-Cola mansions. And Charles Howard Candler lived there up until his death. And then the family donated the house to Emory, and Emory didn't know what to do with it. But the community ended up rallying around it in the 70s and turning it into this fine arts center that now today serves as like a gem of DeKalb County. And it has same kind of stuff. So I'm trying to think of that way where we can sort of scale it down to our, that mansion's 20,000 square feet. We don't have that with 4,800 Campbell, but the house itself at 4,800 Campbell it's a really neat piece of architecture. It was built, we think, early 1900s. So it's a mix of bungalow and Victorian architecture, plaster walls, high ceilings. We're getting French doors put in it to really let the light in there, have a catering kitchen, a small cultural center where we can have a museum dedicated to some of the cool history that is actually in Red Oak.
Right.
And that house is a neat piece of history where back in the day, that house was the only thing there and a pecan orchard. That's what they had. And the rest of that land that it was, the Poolhouse family owned it. And he owned a diner in downtown Atlanta and a soda company, Poolhouse Soda. And all of that operated out of Atlanta. And that he was a Greek immigrant. And this was like his big thing. And then eventually house got sold, divided up, sold to the Sloan family. And that's sort of like the beginnings of Red Oak, right? Because going back historically to Red Oak, it was an agricultural town.
Yeah, because we had two brothers, I remember, the Lee brothers. They had a dairy farm over there where you now see the beginning of the South Fulton Parkway, near over there by Welcome All Road and Fire Station. Yeah, there used to be a dairy farm over there. And if you go out the back way down Ben Hill Road toward Camp Creek, the other brother had a beef farm over there. I don't know if anyone ever noticed that there's a barn right on the right going out Ben Hill Road toward Camp Creek. So yeah, this was totally agriculture in this area. And I actually met some of these people when I first moved to the area. So they used to talk to us, say, hey, we used to go to Atlanta once a year, which, they're just telling us there was nothing between here and downtown Atlanta. So yeah, we got a lot of rich history here that we're trying to revitalize here. And I think, it's going to help a lot of folks. And you got to remember that we still have agriculture in there. We got a large horse population here. We got a lot of people that have goats. I used to be the resident goat expert around here. I don't do goats anymore. We got a few cows, a few pigs, a few hogs around. But again, most of it, you're going to find that we've got a lot of horses in the area. So the Black Cowboys exist in this area. They do a lot of rides. The Buffalo Soldiers also are part of this area. And you can probably see them at the Bill Pickens Invitational Rodeo, which they hold in Conyers. Now, they used to do it down here at Henderson Arena, but they moved it to the old horse arena where they had the Olympics. I believe that was in '95 in Conyers. So a lot of these individuals live and work and and play in this community. And I think it's great that they're starting to see some of the improvements that we're starting to make. Um, I enjoyed thoroughly, and we probably talk a little bit about the arts festival we had last year. That was great. I think, are we having it in the same place that we did last year?
We might need to go bigger. I'm toying, I'm always thinking. The first year we have a great partnership with New Life Church on Roosevelt Highway. That is the church that there's the historic cemetery on Roosevelt, and then there's the church, and they have a big lot next to the church. And that building actually goes back to 1900. It was the Red Oak Christian Church up until the early 90s when the New Life AME Zion family moved in there. And they've been a wonderful community partner. So a lot of our initial programming, while we were kind of figuring out the roadmap, was there because it was right on Roosevelt, very easy to see.
Right.
So TBD, the art festival last year, we did the first one in 2021, second one in 2022. We had something like 40 something vendors last year, and it was like a little too tight in order for parking and all the vendors that we had. So we might just need to think about how we can like close off a road, expand it out, and really make it a big thing, because it's getting to that point. We had some phenomenal musical talent out there too.
Yeah,
so
we did.
in the art festival, and also we use Next Level Entertainment. Shout out to Craig. He is like an OG and knows the best folks to bring in. And so we had Musiki Scales, who had headlined the Atlanta Jazz Festival. And we're going to bring back, I think we're bringing him back for this year or for another gig. And then, yeah, so I'm getting the talent lined up now. It's all the way out in October, but we love for that to be like a signature event for the community. And I want to steal people from Fairburn and Union City and College Park to be like, oh, this is the spot. Like, this is where I want to come listen to music and get great art and handmade goods and have a good time.
Yeah. And again, we can go on the Red Oak website if you want to register for that. Same as for the farmers market. As long as you bring stuff that you are making and not stuff you buy from Amazon trying to resell. Okay. We want to make your own original stuff out there. Okay. And I think that, what they did last year was great. I really enjoyed, especially the musical talent they had out there. They had they had a tribute to Prince out there one time. I thought that was great. So, we want to do, I'm looking forward to seeing what that summer series is going to look like. And of course, the art festival, I think we probably have more than one in the year, because I think it was just such a great success last year that we ought to start thinking about doing it twice a year instead of just once a year.
Well, you can help me with that.
And I just want to also appreciate you guys, because speaking of Earth Day, we were talking about earlier that they were talking about doing a mural on the side of my building, Red Oak Animal Hospital.
We're going to get you a mural on the side of your building. It just won't be done by Earth Day.
Okay, well, that's fine, because right now we're doing some more renovation. I'm always renovating the place over here. So we're actually putting some decorative brick on that side at the base, and trying to make sure that everything is shored up for if and when we do that. And that's be the side of the building that faces Roosevelt Highway. So, like I said, I'm always trying to do some improvements around here to make the place look better, and to be a working partner in the community. And I think that whenever we get that done, it's going to be great. As far as anything else goes, I think that the only other thing that I can think of, we are having some new businesses open here in the area. And again, like Caitlin said, it's best to go to those meetings, especially the ones that Helen Willis has, because they're talking about a lot of new things. We've got a Chick-fil-A coming up. We've got some new buildings and renovations that we're hoping to do over there on Delano Road. Welcome Park is getting a major renovation, to the roof. The pool should be opening this summer again. The indoor walking thing will be open again. Of course, the Miracle League is still having their games there. We got one coming up this Saturday. So if anyone comes to come, the game starts around 12. I recommend you get there at 11:30 so you can see the special needs kids play in the gym. Okay, a lot of these kids are in wheelchairs and walkers, but I think if you come, you will really appreciate, the type of enthusiasm the kids have and how grateful they are to even play the game. At some point, of course, we're looking to to build a Miracle League rubberized field outdoors so they can play outside. We do have a capital campaign underway at this point. We've also met with the mayor, and we're trying to see what we can do to partner up with that. But if you want to donate to that cause, you go to miracleleagueofsouthfulton.com. That'll be the initials or the abbreviation MLSOF.com, and click the button donate up in the top right-hand corner. We appreciate all your support.
And
Caitlin,
you still have opportunities to sponsor for fall. If you're
yes,
interested
you
in
do.
being a sponsor, Red
Yep.
Oak Main Street sponsors, we'd love to see some small businesses out there.
Yes.
We'll put your logo on a flyer and get the word out that you're doing the work.
Yes, we're trying to make it happen. We've been trying to do this for 15 years, and last year I just got fed up. I said, look, I can't wait for any more politicians to help us out. So we just started out on our own. So so far, we know we need to get at least $1.8 million to make this happen, because we'll do a splash pad. We'd also like to do a special needs playground, as well as the field and dugout and the whole 9 yards. So we're looking at a couple different places, but again, we're trying to do this outside for the kids. So if you feel like you want to donate, just go to that website, or you can go to my website at redoakah.com. There'll be a link on there for that as well. In closing, is there anything else you want to add? I see we got a new person added to our.
Yeah, we got Eleanor now.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello. Tell us about Eleanor. I think you had something that you rescued, right?
Oh yeah, all of our cats are rescues.
Okay.
Eleanor I got from Cobb County Animal Services when she was 8 weeks old. She was super cute and really affectionate, like as soon as I got her. And she was like my BFF while I was still single. And then when I met my husband, we added to our clouder. That's what a group of cats is called. Dell and Ruth. And yeah, she's my cat. She's actually special needs. She has epilepsy.
Oh.
So she gets phenobarbital twice a day and to keep her seizures at bay. And also it makes her a little sleepy. So she loves to take naps more than a regular cat does.
Well, you can't hardly tell with cats. I mean, they kind of sleep half the day anyway, So
yeah, she's a 20-hour-a-day sleeper. The one thing I do notice, it makes her a little bit less agile. Like other cats are really good at like jumping across things, and she'll sort of miss the mark sometimes.
Like it looks like a blooper tape, huh?
Yeah, that happens to her a lot. And then we just go like, oh, poor Eleanor. So we don't have any stairs, so I don't worry about her being like a fall risk during the day when I'm home. But we'll hear like a crash in the kitchen, and we know that she missed the countertop and then kind of fell on her little butt.
Well, listen, we appreciate you joining us on the show today. The input that you gave us was invaluable. We hope that listeners will take you up on going to the website. And if you could, give us a website again where they can go and look up some of the stuff.
Yeah, if you go to redoakdistrict.com, we've got our Facebook, our Instagram, anything you would want to sign up. And then also the City of South Fulton website and Instagram cross posts a lot of our stuff. So if you're really interested in just Red Oak, redoakdistrict.com. But if you citywide, hit up our website, our social medias, our YouTube. And like I said, go to those meetings. I know it's a pain, but you'll learn a lot of stuff.
Well, they do have refreshments. That's another thing. So don't think you just sitting there with dry mouth.
I've eaten too many donuts at a council.
Yeah, exactly. And if anybody wants to reach us at Red Oak Animal Hospital, again, you can go to www.redoakah.com. A lot of, especially on the Miracle League, that information is on there, and the community service that we're doing also be listed there, as well as our new services. We now offer ultrasound as well as teleradiology. So we do have the capability of doing that as well. We once again appreciate Caitlin King of the Main Street Red Oak District for joining us today, and we appreciate you being with us today. Have a great weekend. This is WCEG Network, and I'm Dr. Tolbert. Have